Hey guys, Earl here with CSI on another episode of The Breakdown. Today we're going to be talking about a small job I did downtown, some repairs on some white Carrera marble. So let's start off with setting the stage of what I'm working on. I'm going to go over some images here and explain these areas that I work on. So first, as you can see, there's like a dresser here, shelf, and underneath that, I'm going to try to zoom in on these pictures where you see damage. Now this damage was caused from the old shelf that was removed from here. They did some remodeling, changed some furniture around. So what I'm showing you here are the two marks where the legs went. So you can see that there. Okay, now I'm going to back up and you can kind of see the setting of the room where it's placed at and kind of give you an idea of the challenges that I'm working with. And this is a lobby, so I have to do this at nighttime when there's no residents walking back and forth. Okay, so now the second area is the entry level of the lobby. I'm going to go over that. You're going to see some chairs here, a painting. And let me zoom in on the chair rail behind. You're going to see a marble wall with a ledge. And let me zoom in on that damage right there. You see that damage right there? All those scratch marks. That was caused by a chair that was there. So normally when someone sits there, they back up into the wall and scooch the chair back. The chair, through the years, has damaged this little rail right here that you see. So that's what I'm working on today. So white Carrera in a lobby, has to be done at night. Two areas to repair. The first area is where the old cabinet was, dresser. And the second area is behind the chair. So what is it that I have to do to work on this area? Well, the process is pretty straightforward. I would have to clean these areas first, restore them, which is a three-step process of grind, hone, and polish. And after that, do a final cleanup and reseal it. Now let's talk about that process as it pertains to the areas that I'm servicing. So underneath that cabinet, there's just two areas where the legs went, and it left like divots on the marble floor. So after cleaning this area, have to implement a full restoration. So the grinding process is the sanding process of a full restoration. That is the lower grits of sanding, and what we're doing is wet sanding with diamond abrasives to remove any scratches, etch marks, and divots, right? So after grinding it, I clean it up and I see, well, the floor is no longer even. There's like a divot in there, like a pothole on the road. No matter what I do to it, if I don't fill this pothole, you're always going to see that. So after the grinding process, I have to dry it. After I dry it, now the only way for me to fill that hole is to do what's called an epoxy repair to fill that divot, right? Kind of like asphalting a road, you fill the divot. After the epoxy dries, it's going to be slightly above the floor. So now if you imagine, if you run your hand through it, you can feel that bump. From there, I got to regrind it again and flatten it out so it's even. So the grinding process occurs twice in this repair. After I grind it down, the next stage is called honing. Now honing could be 2 or 3 steps to try to flatten it out, smooth it out, and close the pores. After that honing process, then we go to the polish part to get the finish of what's on the floor. This floor is a high polish, and the repair area I did is not at a high polish. It's at a hone finish right now. So now I gotta polish it, which is 2 or 3 steps and may require a paste or a powder polish to match the pre-existing. So the biggest challenge in this area right here is that, one, there's a pre-existing cabinet there or shelf that they don't want moved. So I have to work around that. So from first thing I do is protect it, run plastic all around it. This is an expensive piece, probably $15,000, and I don't want to damage it. Second, I'm not servicing the whole floor here. They only want those two areas at the moment. Now, keep in mind, this is a floor that we do at least twice a year for the last 4 years. But in this particular time, they only want those two little areas done. So now I have to work with doing a repair and refinishing and matching it to pre-existing wear that's on the floor without making it look like it's sticking out brand new. So that in itself is very challenging. However, it can be done through the restoration process. So after I polish this thing, I clean it up, remove all my protective tape, and then I seal it and do a light buff. And I'll show you some after images right now. Okay, let's look at these. So the job here is not to make it stick out like a sore thumb, more so to blend it with a pre-existing floor until they get the whole floor serviced again, which may be in another 3-4 months. Okay, that's repair 1. Now repair 2, kind of scary for me, also challenging. You know, we're looking at this setting here with the chairs. Behind that chair is where I'm working at. And, well, the chairs are $5,000 a piece. The little end table is another $5,000. And then we have that beautiful painting up top. That's $250,000. So right there, that puts me in high panic mode. However, I'm used to working around all these elements daily. So naturally, the first thing I do is protect everything and secure my workspace. Move the chair out the way, cover the end tables, you know, run plastic over the painting. That wallpaper is probably $250 a square foot. I don't want to damage that. So now, you know, here, I'm gonna show you my taping. Let's look at that. And then let's go back to the original picture where the damage is. You can see those heavy scratches and indentations. The only way to remove that is for me to grind it. And those are lower grits. The grinding process is 2 to 4 grits with diamond abrasive. So basically you're going up 4 sanding steps in the grinding process in itself. Just like the other repair. After I grind it down and smooth it out and remove all those scratches and damage, now I gotta smooth it out, which is the honing process, which is another 2 to 4 sanding steps, wet sanding steps with diamond abrasive. From that honing, we're bringing back the color and the feel is what the honing does. The smoothness and the color, the texture. The polishing stage of full restoration addresses the finish that's on the stone. Let's look at another picture here. So if you look at it, you could tell that it's a high polish on white Carrera. So after I grind it, remove the damage, I gotta hone it to get the same smoothness and color. Now the polishing matches the pre-existing factory finish that's on there. That's where the challenge comes in, because it's hard to replicate what's done in a factory by hand without, you know, machinery that operates on 220 volts and probably weighs 100,000 pounds. To be able to do that in this setting with hand tools and, you know, doing everything basically by hand. So the trick to it is to blend it so it appears as if it never happened, even though I know it will never look like a factory finish. Most people will look at it and won't even know it's there. So I just want to say, I never say I can make anything look like brand new or match a factory finish, because the truth is you can't. In a factory, they're not working around all the elements I'm working around. They don't have the same, you know, they have bigger equipment, heavier equipment. They're at more liberties to do a lot more to the stone than somebody that's walking into a live setting with people, with furniture, and being limited to 110 volts of power. So I will never claim to make anything look brand new. However, it looks pretty close. So now let's look at a couple of these pictures. I'll flash through them. let's look at my end picture, the final after picture. If you look at that, as you can see that there's a slight bevel on that chair rail, and that bevel is created because I had to sand it down. There's no way for me to refinish that and get a true 90-degree angle like it normally has, because it was eroded to begin with. The chair hitting it back and forth for years knocked off that 90-degree edge. So now it's at a 45, but all jagged, as you saw in the before picture. So now here, I've got it smoothed out, I got it finished, polished, the whole nine. And after this, I just clean it, put a fan on there, buff it out, really extract the moisture out of the stone, and then reseal it. So after sealing it, it's good to go. Remove the plastic, clean everything up. You're gonna have dirt, you gotta make a mess before you make progress, and then simply put back all the stuff. So here, let's look at the afters now again, one more time. And that was a short night, 3 small areas to repair that matters to the customer that we've been servicing for the last 4 or 5 years. Just wanted to share this one with you because this was a particularly challenging situation, not because of the repair, but because of where it's located and the elements that we work around. And so that maybe you have a project like this, and this is definitely something we can do if it interests you. If you go down the links below, you can visit our website, send us an email, give us a call. Anyhow, that is your episode today of The Breakdown. I'm Earl with CSI. Thank you so very much for watching.